Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we get pulled into Ultra Space via an Ultra wormhole. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. Patrick, I have a new favorite genre of animal videos.
Okay.
And it is pandas misbehaving.
Okay.
I love it.
Misbehaving in what way?
So, like, their handler, is trying to, like, get them out of the tree.
Right.
Or have them, sit there for a photo or to get, like, their weight taken or something, and the panda's not having any of it.
I like it when a panda is like the man that's in the pen to like do other stuff. I'm just gonna hang on to his legs.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's
Those
so
are good videos.
There's just and I know that on Tuesday we definitively determined that you're like a mountain beaver or something like that.
That's right.
And
an ancient rodent. Yeah,
an ancient rodent.
Couldn't wait. We're a minute into the episode and already. The mountain beaver is. We brought it back up.
And that's and like for a few minutes I was really into the mountain beaver, but now I'm into misbehaving pandas.
All right, that's fair. On the subject of beavers and beaver videos, though, I like. There's some zoo that has made a habit of giving beavers like too much food to carry and then making them walk back to their habitat with it. Have you seen these?
No.
They're like walking through a whole zoo and they're like trying to hold a sweet potato and like a carrot, and they can't do it. It's too much. They keep dropping it.
On the one hand, I love this idea.
Yes.
But on the other hand, why are you giving those beavers too much food for our, are you creating content and creating anxiety in these beavers?
Okay, well, their lives they live in a prison, right? This is a time where they get to walk all the way across the yard, and they get too much sweet potatoes. I'm sure they love it.
It's like bonus time for the amusement of the warden, and we're all the warden.
Right, but it also like then draws attention to the look. I'm not going to defend zoos. I don't think we should. They actually, some zoos are maybe good. I don't really have a stance on this.
I mean, I'm just saying my favorite videos are the ones where the animals are standing up for themselves. They're taking it out on the man. They're taking it out on the handlers.
Well,
your favorite
they
videos,
can believe that they're getting one over on the man, when in reality the man's like, I will tolerate this because it will get us more clicks.
Yeah, that's true.
Like no matter what, it's the man we got to worry about. The pandas and the beavers need to team up. Mark, if you want to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch, you certainly can. All you gotta do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com and give us a mailing address where I can send you my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch. I pay for the postage to you. I don't pay for your time playing the game. You don't have to play the game. You can do with it whatever you want. And then I pay for the postage back. It is the perfect borrowing program. There may be a copy of Untitled Goose Game in there instead of Sonic Forces, but that doesn't decrease the perfection of the program.
No, nay, I say. Another thing you can do is you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere that you get your podcasts. We appreciate it so much. Patrick and I love reading your reviews. It really helps people find the show. So thank you to everybody who has left a 5-star review. If you leave us a 5-star review on the US Apple Podcast Store, we can see it and we will give you a shout out on the show. But if you leave us a review anywhere else, we still want to recognize it. So please hit us up on Twitter, send us an email, let us know that you left a review somewhere else so that way we can acknowledge it on the show.
Also, you should get into our Discord. You should join the Nintendo Cartridge Society Discord, but you need to be invited. So here's what you need to do. You need to email us. You need to hit us up on Twitter. Any way that you can get in touch with us, let us know you want to be in that Discord. We'll send you a link. You can hang out with us. We're having fun conversations about Nintendo. Everyone's super chill and super fun. So get in there as soon as you can.
Finally, at the end of August, we are going to be ranking and determining the best Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track. But
yes,
we need your help.
We so badly need your help.
We are going to be talking about the 48 original tracks that released with the game, so DLC is not included. But we need to know your favorite tracks, your least favorite tracks, the tracks that you want to make sure don't make it anywhere near the top of that list.
And look, this is where we need your help to identify the little details that make tracks special. So, like, is there some interesting looking shy guy on the side of the road in one of these courses? You better email us and tell us about it, because Mark and I are going to miss it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even going to know that that's there. We're going to take extensive notes, but we're going to miss everything that's important to you. So write in and tell us what not to miss.
I have shy guy face blindness, so they all look the same to me. So I need your help.
Well, see, I grew up in a neighborhood with a lot of shy guys.
Oh,
so,
yeah, of course.
I could. It's always. We need your help. Email us. Write in. Hit us up on Discord.
By August 19th.
All right, Mark, there was a Pokemon Presents yesterday morning, as of the release of the show. Let's get into it. 6 o'clock in the morning, Mark. 6 o'clock in the morning is Pacific time, is when Nintendo decided to roll this thing out. The Pokemon Company decided to roll this thing out. We already decided we don't know who makes these decisions, who puts these presentations together.
So I think it is the Pokemon Company, or at least it's released on official Pokemon channels, and it's not like a Nintendo Direct that shows up on Nintendo channels. You have to go to the Pokemon channel in order to view it.
And I gotta say, you gotta dismiss a lot of Pokemon Presents reaction videos to find the right one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bummer to me how, like, and this is true of most Nintendo Directs and Sony PlayStation States of Play and the like, where it's just like there's so many live stream reaction videos that it can be like genuinely tricky to find the right one.
Yeah, totally. I have a question for you, Patrick. So you and I are not huge Pokemon heads. A lot of the games that were presented here, I guess actually, like, we haven't spent a ton of time in, and I'm just curious your overall kind of like thoughts, reactions to the Pokemon Presents.
So this felt very much like a Pokemon Presents to me, which is to say that like half the time they were talking about stuff that I don't care about at all, and like just know that I won't engage with. And then the other half was talking about the upcoming big Pokemon game that I am interested in. And by that metric, knowing that I was going to, not be interested in 10 minutes of this 20-minute presentation, I like this one a lot. I think that Scarlet and Violet look like really robust, interesting, cool games. So, yeah, I mean, this was a good Pokemon Presents for me. What about you?
Yeah, I felt the same way. There are a lot of like games and specific things in here that I'm not super knowledgeable about. I've never played a lot of these games. But the thing that really struck me is how good the Pokemon Company is at brand management. There are so many.
There's so many.
There are so many like touch points for players, consumers, whatever you want to call them, to interact with Pokemon in such like a vast array of things. Because yes, there's like the traditional RPGs, but they also understand that like I think from my perspective, one of the core selling points of Pokemon is like, here are all these adorable little monsters.
Yes.
And so something like Pokemon Cafe, like, who cares if you like RPGs, right? Like, it has absolutely like,
who cares? Squirtle is wearing an ascot.
Exactly.
Like, what?
It makes absolutely no difference whether you've interacted with Pokemon in any fashion before, or if you're just attracted to, a game like Pokemon Cafe because it looks so appealing and inviting. But that's just like, I just feel like Pokemon Company, Creatures Inc., Game Freak, whoever is in charge of like these decisions, they are so good at it. There's something like Pokemon, I feel like, for everybody,
for like every type of player, with the possible exception of like the hardcore video gamer. I feel like that is still like part of the market that they're catching anyway.
That's right. We just need them to give Pikachu a gun.
Just give Pikachu
Bang!
a gun. Is that what Pikachu sounds like when he's shooting you? He yells bang. I don't want to play this game, Mark.
Why does yeah, fair.
But this presentation also
Bang!
well
He's just not very good. It's Pikachu with a shotgun. What are you gonna do?
with a shotgun.
I didn't say these were wise decisions.
Okay, all right. No, but they spent a lot of time in this presentation, and we're gonna like hit the whole thing like beat by beat. But sort of dwelling on the Pokemon World Championships, and then eventually talking about Pokemon Go and about holding like events, like in-person events again. And it seemed like there was a real like sense of celebration around like Pokemon is bringing people together in like spaces again. We couldn't do it because of the pandemic. Now we say what pandemic? Because it's still going on. But there's so much more to Pokemon than the card game, than the video games, than the anime. It's like a culture, right? That it's like you come together to play Pokemon, and that means so many different things.
And we'll get there, but I really like the idea anyways. We'll see how it's executed in November. The idea of Scarlet and Violet being seemingly in like wholly multiplayer experiences if you want it to be.
Yeah.
And that feels like something that you're talking about, like this Pokemon is a way to make connections with other people, and I like that is being brought into the mainline series in a very prominent way.
Right, and not just like because you could do the 4-player like I don't know if it's all 4 or 2
but like
or 4.
the raids, right? In Sword and Shield.
But you could only do that in like the raids and in the wild area, right? And this is like the whole game, which is very intriguing and appealing to me. And I think we need to develop some sort of strategy for like how we're going to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet together. Because like I want to do it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be a fun opportunity to hang out with other people who listen to the show, and just other people who play Pokemon. Like we have a lot of people in our world, in our orbit, who are going to be way into these games. I think it would be fun to get way into the new Pokemon games.
I think it would be too. One thing I'm curious about is in the past, you and I have kind of like one of us has gotten Sword, one of us has gotten Shield, one of us got Sun, one of us got Moon.
Yeah, we're going to do that again.
But can you? Like, if you have 2 different versions of the game,
yes,
will you be able to like play with each other?
Yes.
You will.
I mean, totally, yeah, because the legendaries are exclusive to one version, and they showed a lot of 2 Koraidons.
You're right. You're right.
So.
I just didn't know if that makes a ton of sense. I wasn't sure because they talk about there's a different school in each version. There's different like professors. So I feel like there are maybe going to be limitations to the multiplayer, like when you can activate it, that we're not aware of yet.
Right.
But
like you when you go into town, that it's like you have your own town, and then like everyone has to meet up outside of town or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that way you can keep your individual like gyms or Pokemon, because there's going to be different Pokemon in each game. I don't know. I just think it's an exciting possibility. We'll learn more about it, but
yep.
We'll talk more at the end.
It would be insane if they gated multiplayer to people buying the same version of the game. Right, because like so much of the strategy in releasing 2 kinds of Pokemon is to make people with the 2 different versions interact with each other to catch them all, because you need to interact with someone who has blue, so you who bought red can collect all the Pokemon.
Yeah, so you can trade back and forth. But
right.
You're right. Now you don't necessarily have to do that. You can, in theory, we think, meet up in somebody else's game. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's got to just be that like one. Oh, and actually that is sort of. I was looking for the name of the thing, what they call it. It's like not a summoning circle, a union circle. So like I wonder if you are pulling people into one specific game, or you're visiting someone's game.
Yeah. Or
if there's like some mysterious like special third version of the world that you go to when it's multiplayer, or what. But we'll get to all of that in time. Mark, would you like to just start at the top of the presentation?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this was 19 minutes and 20 seconds long, 19 minutes and 10 seconds long, something like that. Hosted generally speaking by Takato Utsunomura. Utsunomaya.
Sounds good to me.
So great. Who rocking a floral pattern shirt and a bright color plaid. Stunning outfit on this guy.
Yeah, so in the Scarlet and Violet trailer, there are all these, they show you all these who look like main NPCs in the game.
Yeah.
And they're all very stylish.
Yes.
So I feel like the drip is dripping from the top of the Pokemon Company and invading
And
all parts of it. It's very
soaked the game in
yes,
drip. Yes.
Yeah, the trickle down theory of style for sure.
Actually works in this one.
Yep.
This is the one place where trickle down works. So Utsunomiya handed off the early part of the presentation to
It's Utsunomiya, I think.
Utsunomiya. Yeah, I'll buy that. Thank you. Handed it off to Chris Brown, to the Pokemon Company International, to talk about the World Championships of Pokemon in London, August 18th through the 21st. So that's very soon. And in London, do you think they did it in London because of Sword and Shield? That they were like,
oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah.
The
less drip here.
Yes. Yeah. What was I? Oh, one thing I thought was interesting is I don't understand how these official Pokemon tournaments work.
Yeah.
Or how people are like, because it sounded like these World Championships, which makes sense as the championships, are like an invitational, and they talk about in the presentation that people have been, working for years to get to the point where they're at this invitational, and I think that's just really cool.
It's impossibly cool, and it's so it's they are bringing back what they've done for previous Pokemon World Championships, which means it's the trading card game, the just they say the video game, but like I don't know what version they're battling in, and Pokken Tournament. So that's 3 different ways that you can participate, and all are totally different, right? Like the CCG is its own beast. It's like going to a Magic tournament. The video game is a video game, and then Pokken Tournament is a fighting game. And then they're adding 2 more games to the lineup. Pokemon Go, which is nuts that is because that game has the biggest player base of anything in the world, and Pokemon Unite, which is such a huge online game that like it's neat to see that drawn into like a real meat space, like taking this esport and really just putting it up at the Pokemon World Championships.
They also talk about it having like the largest Pokemon Center pop-up shop ever, and they're having these exclusive little like British Pikachu, and I think it was an Eevee. I can't remember that part. My eyes are always drawn to a cute looking Pikachu.
Yeah, same.
In these little like British Beefeater outfits.
Yeah, he's like wearing a hat, but it's like a little bit crooked.
It is. I mean, if you need to understand the appeal of Pokemon, it's simple. It's that Pikachu is adorable and doubly adorable when you put him in a cute outfit.
Put him in a cute outfit and don't forget a hat. He needs a hat.
Don't you dare forget that hat.
Don't you dare forget that hat. Yeah, it's they were selling like a little plush of this Pikachu, but he's also like on the seal that like represents the World Championships, which is very cool. And then they ended the presentation here with showing off the trophy, which is a Pikachu standing on top of a Pokeball on top of a like spiky thing, and the Pikachu itself is also holding a trophy, so you sort of get 2 trophies when you win this trophy, right?
Well, and again, the Pikachu is so cute. It looks so pleased.
Yes,
to be holding
very
this
happy.
trophy.
He's very happy.
It's adorable. I was at first when they were like, "We're gonna show off the trophy," I was like, "Who cares? Boo!" But then I saw the trophy, and I've never loved a trophy more.
Right, it's a good looking trophy. It was it sort of shocked me that it's like bright color like that, because the base of it is just like gold, right?
Yeah.
And then like when you get to the Pikachu, they're like, no, the Pikachu should be yellow, and like he should be standing on a red and white Pokeball. They're just like, paint it all.
Yeah, it's cool. I would love one of those in my house.
Well, you got to be a world champion
Someday.
Do you think they give out 5 of them, like one for
I do.
game?
I bet they do for like card game, video game, Pokken Tournament, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Unite.
If the Pokemon World Championships were in Los Angeles, would we go?
Maybe not this year.
Right, you mean with COVID?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying
But
like
yes, I 100%,
hypothetical. Yeah.
100%. I think I think it would just be so much fun. I think anytime, even though like we're not like the biggest Pokemon fans, my experience has been that anytime you are around a lot of
Yes.
people who are very excited about the thing, it is infectious.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun.
Right, which is also again why we're not going this year because it is in fact infectious. We don't want COVID. We don't want monkeypox. All right. So that sort of ends the World Championship news. We go back to Utsunomiya. Oh, Utsuno. God, you had me, Mark.
Let's just call him
You had it.
Takedo.
Okay, fine. Takedo introduces more information about Pokemon games. And I wrote here mobile apps, but they're not all mobile apps, but you can play every single one of these games on your phone. They start with Pokemon Go. They just held in-person events in Berlin and Seattle, and now they're headed to Sapporo, Japan for another event.
They talk about there being Ultra Beasts at each event, which appear to be like
they're weird-looking Pokemon.
They are weird-looking
These are intimidating Pokemon that I don't much care for.
They're intimidating. I think they're kind of funny. They're like strutting around.
Yeah.
There's
They're like tough guy Pokemon.
There's this one like spider lady or lady with like long arms that she's like swishing around. They made me laugh.
And a Buzzwole is among them. And I only know its name because it gets a shout out later on down the line. Buzzwole, if you've never it's like Buzz and Swole jammed together. It's like a muscle man except his head is a mosquito and he's all red.
It makes me laugh. The finale is happening August 27th, so later this month, and it's a worldwide event. So Pokemon that are not usually available in your region are available now, or will be available.
Will be available during the finale event. And the finale event seems like so it's the conclusion of some story that's happening in Pokemon Go that is utterly bewildering to people like Mark and myself, where they're like, help rediscover what's happening in whatever, and also what happened to Professor Willow, who got sucked into ultra space through an ultra wormhole.
I just love it so much.
It's just the right kind of nonsense.
They also are touting daily adventure incense, which for 15 minutes each day, it lets you track more Pokemon, including legendary, and again, Pokemon that are not usually found in your region. Also, they are showing off that over 700 Pokemon are available in the Pokemon Go Dex.
Which is a lot. Still not all of them. Which I feel like a full, complete Pokedex is now a fantasy for any game.
I think Pokemon Go is going to get there.
You think they're going to get there?
Totally, because I think Pokemon Go is still insanely popular. I was in San Francisco a couple of months ago, and we saw people, like playing Pokemon Go, trying to capture a Pokemon Center or whatever it is.
A gym.
A gym, yeah. I think they'll eventually get there. It doesn't seem like Pokemon Go is going anywhere.
That's a good point. And I guess as long as they stick around, they'll likely catch. Although, like, new Pokemon are being invented all the time because they got to like release a new mainline one every couple of years with new Pokemon.
Yep.
Next up is Pokemon Unite, which this is the one that is available on Switch, but also on mobile. It is celebrating its first anniversary. Sort of hard to believe that Pokemon Unite has been around for 1 year. Feels like it has it has such a big like footprint in the world of like esports and like MOBAs right now. It's sort of hard to believe that's only been around for a year.
Yeah. They're celebrating it with new Pokemon and features, also events and campaigns, including...
Right. And I just wanted to interrupt real quick and just say, we don't know what any of that means.
Well, we can puzzle out what new Pokemon and features mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but features, okay, sure.
What is different from a feature, an event, and a campaign?
Great question.
Yeah, we will never know. But one thing we do know is that starting August 3rd, for a limited time, Pika Party is available. And this is basically Oops All Pikachu mode.
Yes.
Where they said all the players, all like the Pokemon in the game, are all Pikachu.
Everyone's Pikachu.
With different like costumes or hats, it looks like.
And it seems like there's one big Pikachu in the middle. Again, we don't know how Pokemon Unite works,
right.
But there's one big Pikachu in the middle, and he's like classic fat Pikachu. And all the rest of them are, one of them is wearing like a party hat, another one's wearing a cowboy hat, and like how can you be mad at any of it?
Can I like when I die, I hope that whatever afterlife I go to is like Pika Party.
Sure. So like your Valhalla is just fields of Pikachu.
I think I would love that so much.
So okay, when Mark dies, it'll be like that scene in Gladiator where his fingers, instead of over a field of wheat, it's just Pikachu
It's just
ears.
Pikachu's. Oh my gosh, I would love that so much. The other thing, and this made me think of it, but it's a little more prominent in the Scarlet and Violet trailers, is it delights me to no end that as more and more this like rendering of Pokemon becomes HD, they still make these really mechanical sounding noises that sound
Yes.
like they're, basically pulled from the Game Boy.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like that is what they'll forever sound like.
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Just like gears grinding together.
And then they're also adding the new Pokemon Buzzwole, who we talked about earlier, the muscle man.
Buff Bug.
Yeah, Buff Bug. Also out on the 3rd, which was yesterday. And then there are more events planned for September, and we'll find out more about those when we find out more about those.
Next is Pokemon Masters EX, another mobile game. There's like a little trailer with an seen
Yeah,
player,
like an adventurer who's
like running up a
traveling up to
hill.
a snowy peak.
And up at that peak is Ash and Pikachu.
Right. And I know that this trailer got like some people very excited for like, what is this? Is this a new Let's Go or anything like that? And no, it turns out it's just a trailer for Pokemon Masters EX, which is celebrating its 3rd anniversary.
Also, after that trailer with Ash and Pikachu, there is another trailer that I just call the Hey 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 trailer, because it's a bunch of NPCs. Their pictures show up and go, hey. Then another one shows up and goes,
Hey.
Hey. And then like a third one shows up and is like, what are you doing here? Or something like that. And that's the end of it.
One of them said, let's work on our friendship right now.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. And then it's like, the Trainer Lodge coming in August.
Now, I don't know what a trainer lodge is, but if it sounds like the animal crossification of Pokemon, and I gotta say, that's a genius idea. Like
it sounds to me, based on the trailer, that it's like a place you go to work on your relationship with somebody.
well, that's just the one character who is like, let's work on our friendship. Let's work on our friendship is such an intimidating thing to say to someone.
Especially, let's work on our friendship right now.
Right now.
That's like really intimidating.
Like, I understand, let's work on our communication. Let's work on our relationship if it's like a romantic thing or like you're dating someone. But like, let's work on our friendship. I don't think you can say that to someone.
It's just really intense.
It's really intense. Yeah. Maybe you can say that to like a brother you haven't seen in a long time. Be like, we need to work on our friendship. We're not friends anymore.
Yeah. That's the tone I want from a Pokemon game. For sure. Absolutely.
Long lost brother. Next up is Mewtwo is coming to Pokemon Cafe Remix. The way they set this up is impeccable. Perfect, no notes. This is genius marketing. It's like a regular render of like a scary looking Mewtwo, and then
he's like growling, like getting ready, or he's like scowling, like getting ready to attack.
He's like floating, and there's purple energy coming out of him because like, what even is a Mewtwo? No one knows. And then they're like, he wants a latte.
His stomach rumbles.
Yeah,
he's like looking all like upset, like intense, like
That's
ready
right.
to attack, and then his tummy grumbles.
Right, so he wants some sous vide egg bites from the cafe, and so he's coming to Pokemon Cafe Remix, and you can unlock him after you make a meal for him in 1 minute or whatever, and then they give just an excruciating amount of detail as to how to unlock the Mewtwo in this game.
And when they go into like Pokemon Cafe Remix, and they're like showing everything, it looks like this game has a million different systems in the way that a lot of these free to start games that eventually have you unlock stuff, like they seem to always have just like a cajillion systems you have to manage and learn and unlock gems for.
Yeah, but seemingly none of it is about the gameplay.
No.
Right? Like I think the gameplay of the game is you level up the Pokemon who are like working on the dishes or whatever the coffees that you're making. You select the best ones, and then you just keep mixing. Like the actual puzzle part of it is just you like circling something with your finger until it's done.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But the excruciatingly granular detail that they go into
Yeah.
on how to unlock Mewtwo makes me feel like this is a very confusing game to manage all the systems.
Yes.
Because otherwise, why would you need to do this?
I mean, what a great question. Unless they're just trying to like show you like here are the kinds of experiences you have in this game. And the one thing that I think that was really worked in this trailer's benefit is that they're like putting together the team of chefs that are going to be working on this thing. And there's like a Pikachu, there's a Squirtle, there's like 2 other Pokemon. And they do not let a Pokemon like exist in this world, in the world of Pokemon Cafe Remix, without it wearing a cute little hat
Oh my
or a
gosh.
scarf or something.
They are so cute.
They're so cute.
Because the art style
Yes.
is adorable.
Yes. But then also, look, normally we're like the party hat that only goes on the Pikachu. I don't want to see a top hat on anyone but the Pikachu. But Cafe Remix, no way, man. It's like everyone gets a hat.
Yep. When I die,
There's a lot of Mark Death talk
if
so far.
I
This
don't,
episode.
if I don't go to a Pika party afterlife,
Yeah.
I am praying that I go to like a Pokemon cafe. Afterlife.
You could experience both of these things in your life right now on your phone, which you always have with you.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I can't lay down on the ground and have all these adorable Pokemon like run over me.
That is true.
What if that's how I died?
If you're trampled to death by Pikachus and party hats?
That wouldn't be so bad.
Speaking of being trampled to death, we sort of transitioned out of this by seeing the starters from Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So we're talking Fuecoco, Quaxley, and Sprigatito. But they're human beings in mascot costumes. And they're just standing in front of like a white background. They've got no little physical skit happening.
No.
They just walk off.
But in this moment,
Yes.
when the crocodile, when
Fuecoco.
Fuecoco is standing there, I realized that Fuecoco is supposed to look like a baby that's wearing a diaper, and that's really upsetting to me. I don't like that.
Do you think
I don't like that.
its underbelly is supposed to look like a diaper?
I think it's yes, I think it's intentional.
Hmm.
I do think it's intentional to be looking like a baby within a diaper.
I guess like the big like smile with like the one big tooth. Like there is something baby-like about it.
Yeah, I don't like it though.
Have we talked about this? Who's your favorite among this bunch?
Ooh, I think I can't remember what I said when the game was first revealed.
You're allowed to change your mind.
Well, I think I may have said Fuecoco
I think
previously.
you did. I think you did.
But this diaper revelation is really turning me around on it. So I think I like Quaxley.
Okay, well, now we can't both start Quaxley is the thing.
Well, Sprigatito isn't bad.
Yeah.
And maybe someone can change my mind on Fuecoco, that it's not a diaper.
Consider it a challenge, listeners.
Yeah.
Write into us. Let Mark convince Mark that Fuecoco is not wearing a diaper.
But I mean, it's gonna have to be a diagram with like
that's right.
arrows. I think it's gonna have to be a pretty.
You're gonna have to JFK this thing and really like draw all over it and figure it all out.
But you're claiming Quaxley. It sounds like
I'm just
you're planting your flag.
I'm saying that I like Quaxley. I think I'm gonna go Quaxley. But until we buy these games and like start them up, I think it's an open conversation.
Do they usually show the full evolutions before the game is released? Because that could change my mind as well.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Here's the thing: when in the history of with the exception of Charizard, when have any of the evolutions been better than the starters?
That's true. But like the one for Rowlet from Sun and Moon was kind of funny when he was like a moody teenager with bangs. Like that was funny. But I agree it wasn't as good as
it's not as good.
It's not as cute, but it was funny.
Little owl wearing a leafy bow tie.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like that's he's so good. All right, this is how we transition into more information on Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, which is still coming out on November 18th. Mark, how would you like to tackle this? We've got some notes here that we wrote down just sort of like chronologically.
I kind of think we should just talk about the parts of it that we found striking or interesting instead of trying to do an accounting of the entire trailer.
So I think the first like big new piece of information that we got here is we got the name of the region, right, which is Paldea. And I was not able to get a, you know how they like in recent years they've been like this region is sort of based on London or on Hawaii, or that's there've been these sort of like real world geographic touch points for these things. What do you think Paldea is supposed to be?
So my memory is that w- do they actually say like, oh, this is based on Hawaii, or do they just leave it for us to intuit? I My memory is that like they never in the presentations actually say like this is the UK, but I feel like when it was first revealed, we all kind of came to the conclusion that it's like Spain.
Yeah, but as we get like a wider view of it, it seems more generically European to me.
Yeah.
Um, but also I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But it could also just be a function of it's so big, right? That they're offering so much of like a big open world, which is another point that we'll get to here. But yeah. So it may
Yeah,
not be
you're right. Maybe that is it
small enough,
because
yeah.
it has so many. I'm sure it's going to have like different temperature zones and all that kind of stuff that will make it more unique than
right.
the Alola region. I also thought it was interesting that I'm always a sucker for a like in school story,
Yes,
like
yes.
that was one of the things that drew me to Fire Emblem Three Houses and like the Hogwartsification of Fire
Yes.
Emblem. And it seems like there's a similar sort of thing going on here.
Yes.
And that did pique my interest.
Although it's unclear how frequently you're going to be returning to this space, like the way they talk about the story structure of the game, which we'll get to in a bit, didn't make it seem like you are going to be revisiting the same place over and over again.
Right.
But
That's
I
true.
mean, so like the sort of like hub worldness of Fire Emblem Three Houses, where after every fight you're back in the school, the Garrigmach Monastery for a while. That seems like a little less likely to me.
But because it is open world, I wonder if you will have a base of operations in a way that you didn't in previous Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, that is where you go because, that's where the Pokemon Center is, or, like whatever. Like there are like some base things there, but you're right. We don't know. All of the majority of the NPCs that they specifically called out in the trailer are from the academy. So there's like
to the school,
the director of academy, your homeroom teacher is one that they call out. But we're still kind of like 3 months from the game, so I doubt they're not revealing everything at this point.
Right.
So it's possible that since they were revealing the school element, whether it's a big part of the game or not, that the NPCs that they're revealing are also around the school because they aren't ready to talk about other areas yet.
Right. Oh, and we've known this information before, but the which professor you have depends on which version of the game you have, and I think it also like the academy that you're attending also is different.
It does. Because in the trailer they just referred to it as like
a certain academy.
A certain academy. So I definitely, and it looks like there are two versions. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's which is also like it's interesting to me that they like have these. And I guess we saw that in just like having the two different professors, but like it seems like there are maybe going to be more differences between the two versions of the games than we're used to seeing, which are usually just like some Pokemon appear differently and at different rates, and some are exclusive. But like to have a different sort of mentor character like that's huge.
The other thing that we learned, kind of like because of this school thing, is that you are participating in an independent study that is a treasure hunt.
Right. Now, Mark, we both went to college. Did you ever have a course that offered an independent study that was a treasure hunt?
I mean, I did not know.
Right. But we both got our degrees in treasure hunting. Right?
That's right. In terrestrialize arts.
Terrestriology.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's the sort of like one of the main like the special thing that this game has, like the Gigantamaxing or what was it called in
Sun and Moon?
Sun and Moon.
I can't remember. But yeah, like each recent Pokemon game has like a combat gimmick.
Yes.
And in Sword and Shield, it was that you could Gigantamax your Pokemon and they became like enormous and had special powerful moves. In this one, it looks like Gigantamax isn't returning, but there's this thing called terrestrializing or something like that.
Yes.
Which ties into the treasure hunt aspect of it, because the Pokemon become bejeweled and are wearing these like enormous jeweled hats or crowns or something.
Yeah. Do you remember there's this episode of The Simpsons where Homer thinks he's getting a bunch of money and he imagines himself as the tallest man in the world who's covered in like gold and jewels? That's exactly what I thought when I saw when I saw these things.
And it's based on their Terra. They change type depending on their Terra type.
Right. Okay, so when you terrestrialize these things, they get boosted to certain moves. Their type gets boosted. I don't know what that means. It's somehow a water Pokemon is now more water. I don't know. But then, yeah, they also, some of them change types when they terrestrialize, and the type that they change into is different based on their Terra type. So you can, the example that they used was an Eevee normally stays normal when a normal type Pokemon when you terrestrialize it, but some of them might become water type. Some of them might become grass type.
Do you know, is Terra type an attribute of Pokemon that has existed like in the past? Like,
I don't
think
like
it's
so,
just like,
but
oh, okay.
I mean,
Just because they talked about it so casually that I wasn't sure if it was just an attribute that exists with Pokemon that they're taking advantage of.
Right. Well, it does sort of seem like they if it is a new attribute, which I believe it is, it's strange that they weren't like, all Pokemon have secret Terra types,
Right.
which whatever. But there are always the like sort of like hidden. And they're not hidden; they're listed on there. But the sort of like deeper systems of when you catch an individual Pokemon, that like, oh, this one's nature is
Right. I didn't know if it
aggressive
was
or-
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like it's another sort of hidden attribute that again may not actually be hidden, and people who are deep into Pokemon know these things. But for surface level players like me, where I'm just like, hey, I caught a Pidgeotto. I'm not gonna like go in and like figure out like, okay, what's its Terra type, what's its I even had the nature, yes. All that kind of stuff. It seems like they're just like adding on little ways for individual Pokemon to be different from other of that same species.
Another thing they showed off is similar to what we saw with the Alola region, and I'm blanking on the one from Sun and Moon for a second.
Galar.
Yeah, Galar region. There are specific Paldean form of Pokemon. They showed off a Wooper, Fido, and Cetitan.
Okay, so Fido and Cetitan are just new Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
They are not Paldean forms of existing Pokemon. And we need to stop. We need to talk about Fido.
Yes.
Fido, it's a dog made out of bread.
Its ears kind of look like cinnamon rolls.
I mean, yeah, kind of cinnamon rolls, or like those rolls that you like pull apart, you know?
Yes. When I die,
Okay, yes.
if I don't go to a place that's the Pokemon Cafe, or
Pika Party,
or Pika Party, just a place where there's just lots of Fidos.
Yeah. I mean,
That'd be fine by me.
would you eat a Fido?
No,
It's bread.
it is bread.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's always warm because it's alive. It's warm bread.
it's warm bread.
You can just tear it and eat it.
You could. You could.
It's a good-looking Pokemon. I wonder if it evolves.
Bang!
Well,
Oh, that was Pikachu with a gun.
That's the Pikachu with the shotgun again. Sorry, I won't make you answer whether or not you would eat the Cetitan as well. But good-looking Pokemon. I'm excited to see. What else they got. I do remember when they rolled out the electric like dog Pokemon in the last game.
Yes.
Whose name is like,
I don't remember.
it's like Romper.
But it looks like a corgi.
It's like a little electric corgi.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing at this point. Like they can just make new cute Pokemon that aren't the starters, and it's nice to see that where they can keep it up.
So I feel like we mentioned it before in passing, but I think it's very interesting that they are specifically calling it an open world RPG
Yes.
And they say for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
like in a mainline Pokemon game or just Pokemon game in general, that part they didn't say that I'm editorializing, but they're like, it's an open world RPG. And the fact that they are using those words
Yeah.
is uh,
They're
just
staking their
really,
claim on it.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that is something that the Pokemon fandom, and just like anyone who's casually played Pokemon games before, has wanted, right? In one form or another, you want the big open world where you are just like out there in the world that feels alive, catching Pokemon. And this is seemingly that. So one of the ways, well, let's talk about the various like open world aspects that they showed to sort of like demonstrate it. And one is the various mobility options through the Koraidon and the Miraidon, which are the legendary Pokemon that seemingly you get early enough in the game that they're going to be your main mode of transportation. Um, Unlike any other legendary Pokemon that you got to really work for.
Yeah,
Do
they
like
seem to be like, they're like really mysterious and
these things are handed out like candy. Sometimes you see 4 of them at once. Who knows? Um, but they are Pokemon that you ride, and you ride them as they are either like cruising along like a regular motorcycle, flying through the air like a hang glider, or like scooting along the surface of the water like it's a jet ski.
Another aspect is that there are Terra raid battles
Yes.
that you attack. It seems like they're making a distinction between previous, like the raids that were in
Yep.
Sword and Shield, because they make a point of saying you can attack on your own time without having to wait for your allies.
Which is interesting, and I wonder how that works exactly. But it's funny that it that seemingly acknowledges like, oh yeah, it was a problem before where you would get into a raid battle and someone would just be like dead at the switch, and then like, what do you do? Nothing. So however they did it, they solved for that. So that's a part of like the like open world multiplayer nature of it. They call their union circles, where you like either summon people into your game or get summoned into games. Again, we're not totally sure of that. You and up to 3 friends, and they say that you can ride together, you can fight together, which seems very. I wonder how much story stuff you can engage with in this multiplayer.
Yeah, I wonder that too. Because like we talked about, like there's 2 different schools and
Yep.
everything. It would be very neat if like I could go into your game and I could like wander around your school and
Yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. I also wonder if it is, I'm assuming it's like we could be in an instance together, but do we have to always like stay together? What happens if I go off in like the other direction? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not split screen, right? Like we're on our own switches, possibly even in our own homes. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if there's like any limits on what I can be doing and what you can be doing at the same time in the same world, or like if we get too far apart from each other, the game is like, meh, forget it. We're disconnecting you.
I have not seen or really paid attention to the reaction around these announcements from
Yeah, me
today,
neither.
but it feels like the Game Freak is checking a lot of boxes of things that people have wanted that sound really cool. Like open world multiplayer through seemingly a lot of the experience. Like to me, it sounds very exciting. After watching this trailer, I was excited to like experience Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, well, and so there's one more like open world thing that I wanted to circle back to, which is they said that there are 3 stories that happen within the game, and one of the stories is a sort of traditional gym battle where you're just trying to conquer the 8 gyms, and they specifically lay out that you can approach them in any order you want. There's no prescribed order, which like Pokemon is always like this gym, this gym, this gym, this gym. But it's kind of cool that you can approach whichever gym you're like, oh, this is a rock gym. I can go in there because
Yeah.
I've got the Pokemon that are going to be able to take down those rock guys. Do I know what those types are? Water, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, that there's freedom to approach even that one of 3 stories in whatever order you want. And they're more mysterious about what the other 2 stories are, but they say that you can tackle those 3 stories in whatever order. You can take a break from one to like work on the other. That's fascinating stuff to me. They didn't go into like side missions or like side quests or whatever, which is a lot of what Pokemon Legends Arceus was. This is just like all like big main story stuff, and who knows if we will also have like little side missions.
Yeah, it seems like the game has the potential to be massive, like very big.
Yeah, yeah, and very big and very like free, right? That you can approach things in whatever way you want to, which is kind of the promise of Pokemon. And what is always delivered on by the end of Pokemon is that like the post game of those things like truly is open. You make your own goals, you figure out what you want to do. Yeah, there's like a legendary to go after and all that kind of stuff, but like just to have that level of freedom from the beginning is very, very tempting. And also some of that freedom is in Pokemon Legends, but it's lacking the structure of like the Pokemon gyms, and it's just cool to see that sort of return here. That like freedom and structure at the same time. I don't know, sounds perfect.
Yeah, it's really kind of fascinating to watch the looking back and seeing the pieces be put in place, where it's like, okay, we have the wild region areas,
Yes.
in Sun and or in Sword and Shield, and we have the multiplayer raids, and like just the stuff from Arceus and all of these like building blocks.
Yes.
And how quickly in succession that those things have like happened, and then seeing them evolve even further in Scarlet and Violet.
And that's one of the things that they say is that like we've kept all the things that you love about Pokemon games, but we are also evolving them further. And that, to me, that's what this game actually looks like. I say it every now and then that this is a Pokemon game that I'm actually excited about and actually excited to play. I will reiterate it. I'm excited about Scarlet and Violet. I think they're going to be fun games.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you have a pick at this point for which version of the game you want to play?
I don't. I feel like with Sword and Shield and even like Sun and Moon, there was something about I did Moon and Shield, and there was something about each one that I like gravitated towards.
Yeah.
With Scarlet and Violet at this point, it just feels like 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Yeah, I mean, both the professors are hot. Both of the legendaries are like cool in their own way. And then what? Like everything else is equal. So
yeah,
maybe we'll come down to like flipping a coin here at that point.
We'll have to get our auras read and figure out which one we're closer to.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. And then we can do the same thing for the starters.
Yes.
And then we have to accept however that plays out.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
We're both
Your
gonna get
aura
stuck
is
with
more like
Flake
the
Oko.
diaper baby. Seems right.
All right, Mark. Any other things to say about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Those words are too similar, and I'm gonna trip out over them all the time. Or this Pokemon presents in general.
No, I just thought it was a fun presentation.
I thought it was a fun presentation too. All right, Mark, let's close this out. We've been chatting, of course, about this presentation in the Discord channel all day today. Get in there so we can continue having those fun conversations. But otherwise, write into us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and let us know what you thought. And if there's an obvious pick between Scarlet or Violet that we're not seeing, because we want to know. We want to know what people are thinking. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like the episode, you should share it on Facebook or Twitter or any place like that. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at NinCart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying I hope neither of us is a diaper baby. And thank you for listening.